From Delmonico Farm in New York, here's Max Tucci. Welcome to his table.
Hi, I'm Max Tucci, and welcome to my table. So last week's show, you heard me rap Max and Friends. 15 years in the making, 17 years on air, and now a new era. Welcome to my table. Why my table? Because my grandfather taught me as a child, all are welcome to the table. So you read it in my book, The Delmonico Way. You've heard me for 15 years, well, 17, on LA Talk Radio's Max and Friends. And now we have a new era. Since I've been on Max and Friends, as you guys know, it's been a whirlwind, literally. This is all unscripted. This is my passion. This is my heart. I'm not reading anything. I'm just going with the flow. And so reality check, I mean, since I left you all on Max and Friends, Delmonico's reopened, Tucci opened, The Delmonico Way was published. I'm in the midst of publishing the cocktail book. There's the phrase, the saying, be still and know. And I'm in that point right now where I'm able to be still because all the work that has been done over the years has brought me to my table, to this table right here. I'm in my barn. This is Delmonico Farm. This is one of my dreams. And we're doing it. And, you know, you've never seen me on camera. I've avoided this for years. I didn't want to do this. I was always like, let's do the mic because I didn't want to get primed and prepped. This is me primed and prepped. I don't promise at all for this new era of Welcome to My Table with Max Tucci. But I promise that whatever we deliver from my table will be something that's inspirational, something that's fun, something that's real, something that you know why you've tuned in for all these years. And for those that have been tuning in for all these years, you know what I say? The first time you're a friend, the second you're family. So for those tuning in today for the first time, you're my friend. But come back next week because then you're going to be my family. And remember to tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. This is nothing new for me. I'm loving it. I'm living it. I'm doing it. And I'm doing it because of a very unusual circumstance. So I'm going to have a guest on today because I'm going to have them on every day. Unless, you know, I wake up one morning and be like, you know what? We've got to go record something because it's on my mind. But thank you. I want to say thank you all to everyone. Thank you to everyone at LA Talk Radio through the 17 years of airing Max and Friends, from Sam to Dina, to all of the crew that's been there, from Roni. I love you guys. And without you, I wouldn't be here. You know, I got a call years ago, 17 to be exact. And there was an opportunity that said, there's a new network in LA looking for hosts. It was called Internet Radio. It wasn't even podcasting. And I was like, you know what? Do I do this? What is it? We're going to find out, right? Because I always want to be in this space of learning and growing and doing and giving all. And so, you know, I always say die empty because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give my all. So 17 years ago when that on-air recording light came on from LA Talk Radio, and I was sitting literally in my house in Connecticut at the time, my niece, oh my God, she was 6 years old, Lily. She was like one of my first guests. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know how it was going to work. But when on air went red, I knew that it was my place to sit in the chair in front of this mic and say, welcome to my table. Then I was saying to the Max and Max and Friends. But today it's welcome to my table. So I just want to drive that home a little bit because I know that you're going to hear me saying this over and over again and might get confused that you're listening to Max and Friends because that's just autopilot. That's where we go. That's what we do. But it's fun, it's real, and it's Max and Friends. And now, welcome to my table with Max Tucci. Over the years, I've interviewed over 1,000 guests, have racked up over 1 million downloads, from Jackie Collins. Remember Dear Jackie? Jackie was one of my favorite guests. To Mike Horn, to Lunel. Auntie Ro would come by and drop and say hi. You know, and then we just had my Gordana Biernat. Hashtag Know the Truth, why knowing who you are changes everything. And Ash Ruiz and Valerie Love. And you remember when we did Max Motivators and we'd bring them on and we would navigate ourselves through certain situations? They're still going to be part of my team. They're still going to join me here on Welcome to My Table. It's going to be intimate. It's going to be real. It's going to be raw. And I'm going to have some fun along the way. You know, it's a little more structured than Max and Friends. And the reason being because my guest who's coming up today, my first guest for my new show, was really one of the inspirations in doing this. I thought I was going to like hang up the mic and just, you know, be restaurant royalty or be the new restaurateur where you've heard a million stories. You know what's going on in my life more than I do. You've seen the headlines. You've been a part of them. You've dined at the table at Tucci. You've dined at the table at Delmonico. You've purchased the Delmonico Way. You've made it a #1 book twice on Amazon, and you're now making it go into its 3rd edition. So I thank you from my heart to yours. I know that my ancestors are celebrating because they are. You know, they had a vision and a dream for me. And I went back to it. And that vision and dream that they had for me as a child became my vision and my dream. And now, you know, there's that saying, dream bigger. And I was standing right here in this barn with my guest who's coming up, and I was playing that song from The Greatest Showman, "A Million Dreams Are Keeping Me Awake." And I didn't realize that one of my dreams that was keeping me awake was doing exactly this. You know, during the pandemic and everything that we went through, and I wasn't on the show, there were periods when I was like, why do I feel so fucked up? Why am I so sad? Why aren't I talking anymore? Like, what's going on? And I realized that I was missing all of you. And now you can see me and I can see you. So we're going to go even deeper into our relationship. But when I was just on the mic with you guys, that was my outlet. That was my therapy. That was the realness. That's what carried me through, was having conversations with you. You remember I used to say DM me on @Max Tucci on Instagram, or tweet me @Max Tucci. Well, since I've been on air, Twitter no longer exists. It's the X, but you can still find me there @Max Tucci. But always go to Instagram @Max Tucci. And I want to know what's on your mind. I want to know if you love the show, if you don't love the show, if you love the guest, if you didn't love the guest, if you think there's someone that you want me to bring to the table. I want you to be a part of this. I want you to know, I want you to be a part of it, and I want you to say, we love tuning in to Welcome to the Table, Max Tucci. You know, my grandfather was known for saying, do you hear me? Do you see me? Do I matter? And that's the validation of life. And that's what this show is going to bring. It's going to bring the I see you, I hear you, you matter. You know, none of this is new for me, because for those who've been tuning in, you know that this is what I've been doing for now 17 years. You've seen me on Tamron Hall. You've seen me on Drew Barrymore. You've seen me on Sherry Shepherd. Of course, Good Day New York with my girl, Rosanna Scotto. You've seen me on Good Morning America. You've seen me on the Today Show. You've seen me here and there and everywhere, and in New York Times as a go-to for parties. Like, what would Max do? So it's been a whirlwind. I'm catching my breath, and I'm at my table, your table, our table. I welcome you to the table, and I'm going to welcome my next guest now, because she's someone very special, and you have known her for decades, for those that watch television. And I mean decades, not 10, not 20, but 30. A veteran in television, someone who you've seen in front of the camera, but spent a lot more time behind the camera. And when I tell you, this lady, this woman, this inspiration said to me, oh no, we've got to bring you back to your table and on camera and give your talents to all those out there who are going to tune in. So, yeah, here I am. This is me. You heard the song, Look Out, 'Cause Here I Come? Well, look out, because here I come. And I'm marching to the beat I drum. So I'm going to bring on my next guest. We're still like getting used to this and figuring this all out. So if I fuck up over the way, laugh with me, because really life is a big playground and we all need to have a lot of fun. So my next guest, like I said, you have known her for many, many years and for 13 seasons on being on a show that we're going to talk about. And we're going to talk about how we met. So I'm going to bring her in now because I have the power to do so. In the next show, you might not see me doing this. You might not see that white ring. You might not see the book behind me. You might not see the horse behind me. I might not be coming to you from the barn, but I'm going to bring you my next guest right now, the one and only Suzanne Bass.
Hi.
We
Hi,
did
Max.
it!
Yay! And
We
I love
did
that
it.
we're wearing our pinstripes.
We're wearing our pinstripes.
Thank you for all of that.
Listen, welcome to my table, Suzanne
I'm so
Bass.
happy to be here. I'm so happy.
All right, we've got a lot to talk about. I don't even know where to begin because there's so much. But let's really begin with, I don't want to begin with how we met. Let's begin with, because here we are. So we're going to get into the how we met. But when you first met me and I met you, I guess we're going to go there. All right, we'll go there. It was at Delmonico's. Now, before you tell the story, like we're going to set the scene, okay? So it was a crazy day. I don't know, like you might not know the backstory. Literally, I was like going to Delmonico's, not going to Delmonico's, running the Tucci. I had to go to an event with Martha Stewart. Like, do I go here? Do I go there? Would I go first? And literally, as you know now, in those moments, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go everywhere. And so I ended up going to Delmonico's first. Was not supposed to be there. And I walk in and I go right up to the welcome desk, the check-in, the stand at Delmonico's where all who enter go. And I'm looking around and I'm like, wait a minute. I know her. Now, when I say I know her, because over the years we have a friend, a mutual friend, who's like, you have to meet Suzanne, you have to meet Suzanne. And it like never happened. And so I was like, okay, one day I'll meet Suzanne. And that one day was at Delmonico's, and I turn around and there's Suzanne Bass. So thank you for coming to Delmonico's, for walking through those doors, and for igniting in me in that moment what you didn't know would be this. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It was, yeah, we hadn't planned to meet that day, but for those who know, I worked at the Wendy Williams show for 13 years, and Wendy had called me in July. Her birthday is July 19th.
But let's pause there. Wendy had called you, but wasn't able to call you for many years. Isn't
right.
that so?
Right.
So it's not like, oh, I speak to her every day.
No. So Wendy's been in a guardianship for the last couple of years. I had not spoken to her for a couple of years. She called me this past April. It was the first time I had heard from her. And so we've been talking. So she's in New York City in a facility. And so she's been called, we can talk. I can't call her. She can only call me. Mm-hmm. And so she had called and she said to me, Suzanne, my birthday's tomorrow and my lawyers want to take me out for my birthday. Can you and Brendan, my husband, come out to dinner and help celebrate my birthday with my lawyers? She has a team of lawyers. So I said, Wendy, yeah, we can totally make it. We'd love to celebrate your birthday with you. And she was like, I really want steak. Because let me tell you, you've seen her. This girl can eat. This woman
can eat. Yeah.
So she was like, I really want steak. I want to go to Peter Luger's. And I said, I'm not going to Peter Luger's. My kids love Peter Luger's. I don't want to go there without my kids. And then I remember Delmonico's, had never been.
What made you think of Delmonico's?
Well, I feel like I'd seen you on Instagram, and I just had heard of it, right, throughout the years. Like,
so subconsciously, you're like Delmonico's.
And it's legendary. And she wanted steak, and Delmonico's has the Delmonico's steak, right? So in my mind, I was like, okay, we need to go to Delmonico's. I said, Wendy, tell your lawyers we want to go to Delmonico's. She said, great, I'll tell the lawyers, we'll get on it. So next thing you know, she calls me
Now,
back.
I never knew you were coming.
No, I know you
that's
didn't know, because her lawyers
made a reservation. Right.
So Wendy said, okay, meet me at where she stays in Manhattan. She's in this facility. And so Brendan and I met her there with her lawyers, and we traveled down to Delmonico's.
Tell everyone who Brendan is, for those that don't know.
My husband. We worked
and he's in the
together.
industry also.
Yes, we met on the Rosie O'Donnell show 20-something years ago. So we met at the Rosie.
Before we get into the Wendy, let's get into the you. So you meet Brendan at Rosie. How old were you and he?
Oh, I was 28. He was 27.
Oh, younger. You like the younger men.
I'm a cougar.
Okay.
And,
by 1 year.
10 months.
Okay.
And we met. We fell in love. We got married. We actually eloped.
How soon after you met did you elope?
2 to 3 years. Like it was in between.
Did you know when you met him on that Rosie set, like, oh, that's my man?
I had actually met him before. He was working at Rosie and I was on a different show.
What show were you on?
Down the hallway, in person with Maureen O'Boyle.
Oh, wow.
And we used to
share studios.
We'd cross paths in the hallway, and he was on like this big hit show, and I was on the show that wasn't doing too well. And we'd stop in the hallway, and we'd like say hi to each other, and like That's it.
So what
Just
was he doing on the show?
He was a script supervisor.
And what were you doing on the other
Maureen,
show?
I was like a booker or a producer, news producer, because we did like news stories.
Okay.
Um,
So then
so
you
we
meet.
met. We would like flirt in the hallway together, and um, and finally somebody on the Rosie show who knew both of us introduced us, and
Formally, a formal
yeah,
introduction.
and we like shook hands, and he was like, nice to meet you. And I remember being like, oh, I'm going away tomorrow. And I was leaving for South America for 3 months. So
wow.
that was it. Like we met and then that was it. We didn't see each other. And then honestly, like a year later, I got a job at Rosie. So then that's
Now,
where-
hold on. Did you seek that job because he was there?
No, no,
Yeah.
I did not seek that job because he was there.
Okay.
No. I wanted to work at Rosie. It was a hit show. Everybody wanted to get on the show. So I was really fortunate to land there. And then we just started dating, and then we've been together ever since. So we're coming up, I don't know, what is it? That was 1998.
Wow.
So 28, we're coming up to 28 years together.
So when
28
you
years.
when you hitched, like that's when I graduated high school.
Thanks.
I love that. I love it.
Uh-huh.
And then you married, children, dog,
Yeah,
life.
we've got, 2 kids, Jack and Pete, 17 and 13. We have a dog, Ziggy, he's 5. And then Brenda and I got, hired. We worked at Martha Stewart. We started working with Martha when she got out of prison. She had a big talk show. We worked on that together. And then we landed at the Wendy Williams show together for 13 years.
Now, how did
so
that
Brenda
happen?
and I have been together.
But how did that happen? Like, how did you end up on 3 shows together?
Well, there was sort of we met at Rosie, and one of the producers who went over to Martha, who helped set up Martha, hired us, and then he left Martha, and then he went and started Wendy Williams. So then he took us with him. So it's kind of the way it works in this business.
Right.
Like you meet your people, and they sort of take you along, or they don't take you along.
The journey,
or-
yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Well, it's an energy. It's a synergy. And it's like, if it's there, why look for something new when you already have that chemistry?
Exactly. We were fortunate to work together. It's not like we demanded
So you guys
it.
basically worked together for like, what, 20-something years, if
Yeah.
not longer?
Yep. Mhm.
Wow. So how is it working on a show, on hit shows, not just a show, on 3 hit shows every day? Is there like pressure in the relationship? Like you're on camera, you're off camera, you're on set, you're off set, you're at home. Like when do you have you time?
Well, no, I think because, it's a crazy business, high energy, it's stressful. It's also very fun, fast paced. It's crazy.
Energy.
And I think, yes. And because he and I had that same experience every day, then we would go home and not have to talk about our day.
You understood each other. Yeah.
Yeah. So we could go home and just focus on our kids or, watch Dateline together or whatever and not have to we love Dateline. So, and not have to like go through the day and rehash
Right.
what happened. I mean, there were times where we would just look at each other when we got home and we wouldn't have to say a word because
You already knew the day was a shit show.
Exactly.
I got you.
Exactly.
So 13 years at the Wendy show.
Yep.
You're with Wendy nonstop.
Yep.
You're like her go-to, right?
Yep.
Was that from the beginning?
I mean, I was there from the very beginning. I think our relationship, it grew on air because I was, near her on the, in the studio by her side. So I think that as we, worked more, we spent more time together, we got closer. Brenda and I always got along great with her. She was
Look, we could go with this interview 2 ways. We could go with what was really happening with Wendy, what was going on. You know what? That's not the story. That's not why we're here. And there's a lot of those stories out there, and obviously like, we'll tackle that white elephant in the room right now. Yes, I know Wendy. Yes, she comes to Tucci. Yes, you've been with her. Yes, we love her. Yes, we want the best for her. Yes, she's doing great. Like, let's just get all of that out of the way, right?
Yep.
Since we're talking about her. Because the focus, Wendy brought us together in theory, you and me. I mean, she wanted to go to Delmonico's and you wanted to go too.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when we got into Delmonico's, right? And it was like
well, with all of what I just said though, would you you would agree with all those statements, right?
Yes. Yes.
Like Wendy's doing great. I mean, in my impression, in my vision, and I've dined with her more than once, as everyone knows. I mean, they've seen it in the press, they've seen it, everywhere. And we have great conversations. Obviously, you know Wendy a lot longer than I do. You've been with those conversations, private conversations. And in those private dinners and in those private moments, from my perspective, I'm not a doctor, but from my perspective and my point of view, Wendy and I have had great conversations. And I'm thrilled. Me personally, I'm thrilled for where she is today from where this venture of the hashtag Free Wendy started from. So you were a big part of that movement, though, the Free Wendy movement. Was that pre or post your Delmonico dinner?
Pre-dinner, because she,
well, there was a rally.
Yes. And she had been calling me and I was like, gosh, she's, she sounds great. And we're having really good conversations. And I was just happy to have her back in my life, And so, I'd seen her before Delmonico's, but, being with her for her birthday at Delmonico's was a great experience. And
it was a fun one for sure.
It was fun. And meeting
and a lot of food,
right? Meeting you standing there, you being like, hello. And I was like, oh my God, you're Max Tucci. Like, I'm at Delmonico's and you're here. Of course you're here. Of course you're here. And do you remember? I was like, oh my God, I feel like I have to hug you. And we hugged each other and
we haven't stopped since.
No, we haven't stopped since. And then you sent over seafood towers, and those seafood towers at Delmonico's,
caviar.
It's like nothing I've ever seen before.
Theatrical.
Because there's like a smoke show that goes with it.
There's tiers of seafood.
And there's smoke and like it's crazy. And then once the smoke disappears, it's just like seafood after seafood. And I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing.
And shrimp and
my
oysters.
My mouth is watering.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And then, Wendy can eat. So I think she took one whole tower for herself.
And I sent her a bunch of caviar just for her.
Yes. And then she ate some caviar thing, which I couldn't get near. And she ate that whole thing too.
And then the baked Alaskas. But, we'll back up real quick because I love about, the entrance to Delmonico's for me is obviously a huge thing because that's really where I'm welcoming you to the table, right? Like those doors, my grandfather welcomed people to, my father welcomed people, my aunt, my mother. It is like our DNA of welcoming people to the table. So I remember I was like, oh my God, I got to go. Right. And there wasn't a table ready. And I was like sweating, panicking. I'm like, how do we not have a table? How come no one knew Wendy Williamson was coming? Like, what's going on? And I was like, I got to go to Martha Stewart event. And it was chaotic. And
yes, you disappeared. You disappeared.
Because I had to make a table ready for you.
No, but you disappeared to go see Martha Stewart.
No. That was not for a while. There was a moment where I was like, I remember, because you and Wendy were sitting on the blue sofa at Delmonico's at 56 Beaver Street, right? And I had written everyone books. The lawyers, Wendy, you all got a copy of the Delmonico Way while we were getting your table ready. Then you got your table ready. I was like, okay, great. They're going to sit down because Wendy was like, I'm staying right here on that blue sofa. And then we got you to your table. And then it was like, under the sea, down here it's better, right? With this seafood tower. And I, as a host, as a restaurateur, as someone in the business, I was like, okay, they're in a perfect point in the meal right now where they're not going to notice if I do an Irish exit and I'll come back, right? So I did disappear, but it wasn't like I left you hanging. Like there was caviar oozing out of the tins. There was seafood towers that were like dripping with, the galores of the sea. And I was like, okay, they are good. And I was like, okay, there's like lawyers at the table. It's like the left side is a little boring. The right side is really good. I'm out. And I got in the car and I drove up. Daniel Ballou was doing a party with Martha and Built. And I was like, we're going to have a great event. And I was like, 15 minutes and I'm out. And it wasn't just because I had to come back to Delmonico's. I had to go to Tucci that night too. right? And so jumped up, went to the event, saw everyone, click, click, click. I was with Melba. We had a great time. And then Melba, from Melba's of Harlem, for those that don't know. But follow my Instagram so you get my Instagram will paint the picture for all of the characters that I'm talking about that you might not know. So go to @MaxTucci to see all of those pictures and it will paint it all in. But so then Suzanne, Wendy, Brendan, the lawyers, they were all at the table. I came back, we came back, we fed you steaks, and then it was like time for desserts, and there was like one of everything and a baked Alaska that said, "Happy birthday, Wendy."
Yeah, the baked Alaska comes with flames, right?
With flames. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
and what was interesting, let's go back real quick to the beginning, because when I got to Delmonico's, not knowing you were there, right? I had no idea you guys were going to be there. And I'm like, why is there paparazzi outside of Delmonico's? Right. And I was like, celebrities come to Delmonico's all the time, so it's not unusual. But it was like an earlier reservation. And I'm like, why is all this paparazzi out here? Well, the next day, flashed the New York Post, and there is a picture, full page of you and Wendy, how she celebrated her dinner at Delmonico's.
And I had my tan going, and thank God I dressed up. It was a great picture. I was like, oh my God, I have to get it framed because it literally is such a great picture of Wendy and I walking.
But it showed, it also, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. That picture showed your happiness to be back with her happiness to be out and about, her smile of like, my freedom is coming, and your smile of like, I'm with my friend. Mm-hmm. Was that moment real for you?
Yeah. Oh, totally. It was a beautiful moment. Like it was beautiful. It was wonderful. And it was captured in that photo. And the next morning when I woke up, I was like, wow, that picture is unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
What was the energy that was captured in that picture?
I guess it was kind of like two girls going out to dinner to celebrate someone's birthday. And also like, wow, we went through a lot and here we are. And, just enjoying life again,
Enjoying life. Yeah. No, it was beautiful. I mean, that picture really did. It spoke volumes because it spoke of her freedom. It spoke of their joy. And then it was just like magical where it was at Delmonico's. It's like throughout the almost 200 years of Delmonico's, those are the moments that happen at Delmonico's.
Yeah.
As you've learned to know also, like those moments are reserved for Delmonico's. They're monumental. They're big. They're huge. They're like Delmonico's is written all over them. So it was like a perfect scene. And really, I'm so honored that however it happened and whatever the universe was, conspiring and my ancestors were figuring out, it was like Delmonico's became part of the script and part of the story. So let's continue the story. We meet, right? And it was like a hi and a bye, and it was cute for the first 10. And then I came back and we sat and chatted some more. And then, I don't know, I didn't speak to you for a while. Right? It wasn't like right away we were like on the phone.
No. But it started soon after. He started talking more and more,
Right.
And, it's like we're at an age, right, where it's like we have our friends, we know our people. Mm-hmm. And so when you connect with somebody sort of, new at the age we're at, it has to be meaningful.
Yeah.
And
no, it's my hair, not yours.
I know.
I'm looking at this. I'm like, how is she talking about friendship and letting me talk with my hair like bouffant like this? But that's okay.
I don't have my readers on, so I really can't see you that well. But when you connect with somebody, it's really nice to meet somebody new and connect with them. And
we have a mutual friend, Siobhan. Siobhan is our mutual friend. Rolanda Watts. I mean, she's been on my old show forever. I love to get to say my old show, and we're going to talk about the new show, but my old show. And Rolanda was talking for a while about getting me on Sherry and getting me there to promote the book. And Siobhan, we were like all going to make it happen. Just had to go. It had to fit, right? It had to make sense. And I had no idea that you had worked at Sherry because it was a short time.
Just for a very short time.
Right?
I helped launch the show, and then my time was done there.
all right, that's your story. Like,
Yep.
save that. Look, save that. Look, my editor once told me, Caitlin, hey, Caitlin, Caitlin told me, if everything's special, then nothing's special. So we can't give it all. Like, you got to save that story for your book. That's your memoir. So that's
what
your
a
book.
book. Let
Oh,
me
what
tell
a
you.
book.
What a
It's
book
going to
it
be a
is.
lot thicker than this one. But, okay. So that's initially how I think really the seed of our friendship was planted. Because I kept hearing from Rolanda, I kept hearing from Siobhan, you have to meet Suzanne. You and Suzanne are going to, like, you guys are going to become best friends.
Yeah, they knew we would totally like click.
They knew we would click.
Yeah, we
and
would
so
click.
we click. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And for the sake of time, because, you know, like, this is a live show. Can you believe we're fucking doing this? Let me just take a break for a minute and just tell you all, like, I promised myself, like, I would never be on camera in front like this with a podcast.
Yeah, but
And,
you're
like,
doing great.
Yeah, well,
You're great.
if I
So, Max,
look,
let me
if
just
I'm not
tell you-
doing great at this point,
No, but Max, to be honest, like I walked away from meeting you that first night at Delmonico's, and I, I've worked in daytime talk shows for 30
Right.
years. So I was like, oh my God, Max is like the best talk show guest. Like, had I known him,
had
while
you
I was
had
at
seen me on
Wendy's-
other other shows before?
No, I was working on a talk show. I don't watch other talk shows. I didn't have
Excuse me.
time. So, like,
Okay.
who's on my show I've worked on? That's who I know.
And if I'm not on Dateline, then you don't know.
I love Dateline. I love Dateline. So what happened is that I was like, oh my God, Max, had you been around, right? Because you weren't doing the rounds like you do them now. Because when I was at Wendy, you didn't have the book out, right?
Right.
But had I known you, had you come out with that book while I was at Wendy, I would have booked you like every week. And every week, you would have been like a permanent guest every single week. You would have made every single recipe.
Don't stop.
You would have made every single recipe in that book.
You mean I wouldn't have to choose?
No, right. Be like, we're going to start with chapter 1, and you're going to
Okay.
do the Cherries Jubilee and the blah, 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 blah. But yeah, no, I was like, this guy's a great talk show guest. And now, like, I'm hanging
Oh, no,
out
we're gonna
with
get to
my
that. We're
favorite
gonna get
talk
to
show
that.
guest. I
Okay,
get
now-
to hang out with my favorite talk show guest of all time. Okay,
Have
go
you
ahead.
cooked anything from the book?
I don't cook.
Okay, Whitney. This is like that Whitney Oprah moment. So Oprah goes to Whitney. So what does Whitney make for dinner? And Whitney goes, Whitney don't cook.
Yeah. Suzanne don't cook.
Okay. What has anyone in your household made anything from this book?
Brendan did the like the next day he went out and
Okay.
bought the grapefruit. and
Okay.
did
The Marilyn Monroe grapefruit.
Yeah.
Because if you fuck that up, then just don't even.
No, I feel like he fucked it up because
Okay.
it wasn't like he didn't leave it in. It has to like broil a little
right.
bit, and
Yeah.
and like we don't really use the broiler, so it was like not broiled. So I
Okay.
don't think it was as good as it could have been. But he's a great cook. Brendan's
He's a great cook. All right.
He's a
It's
great cook.
fine.
Yeah,
It's fine. You know, it was curiosity. I just had to ask the question.
yeah.
But okay. So now, did you like? Okay, I mean, you're not full of shit, but like, yeah, here we are.
So here we are, and we talk all the time. And if people knew how much we spent on the time we spent on the phone, even Pete comes home from school and says, like, every time I come home, you're just on the phone with Max. Like, what are you doing? And you know what? We've been plotting. And figuring this out. And
Well, we've been figuring. Okay, so let's talk about this. This is by no chance a coincidence in my perspective, in my eyes. First, okay, our friendship blossomed quickly. We're gonna cut to the chase, right? Because obviously we're doing a live show, and this isn't WhatsApp, and we don't have like 7 hours
love
to talk all day. So
Run
the point
WhatsApp
is
all
that
day.
we meet. You saw this energy that I had. You thought I would have been a great guest. We talked about doing other shows, not this one. We
Right.
talked about like this person would have a great show, that person would have a great show. Like we started a production company called Table for Two Productions, and we're gonna do this one and that one. When was that moment for you that you're like, why are we working on everyone else's show and I'm not doing something with Max?
yeah, it was a moment we were trying to figure out what to do and this and that. And then I was like, well, why are we just not, renaming, revamping, relaunching your podcast? You've been doing this for 17 years. So, let's keep with it. Let's give it a different look. Let's change it up a little bit. I like to say elevate it a little bit. I think we have because, before you weren't, you couldn't, you weren't on video. So now there's the, the video part of this. And I just think that, look, I think you're dynamic. I think you have a really great story to tell. You're part of New York City. You're, I the other day I watched you do another podcast and I'm like, oh my God, you're an inspirational historian. I don't know what to do with that other than
then age me by 40 fucking years.
Yes, but I know there's there's nothing sexy about an
Welcome to my
inspirational
table.
historian. But what you know about the history of New York City and dining is unbelievable. And
Thank
for
you.
anybody, look, everybody, people come from all over the world to New York City to eat here. And your family has in this year has been in the hospitality business for 100 years. In Delmonico's is 200 years next year. You're a staple of this city, and what an incredible thing to be a part of. I've never known anyone like that. So to know you and hear your stories and hear what you have to say, and just how important all that history is to you, is inspirational, right?
Thank
It is
you.
inspirational, and I just think your story is incredible, and also, you're really unaffected by it, like you're like a normal guy,
Sure.
with a little.
Look, I was raised by wonderful women who taught me the asses that you kick on the way up will be the ones that you kiss on the way down. And that is seared into my soul. So, I always know, like, look, just be cool. It's like you could have everything in the world and be the biggest asshole. And I strive not to be that person, where my grandfather's motto of all are welcome to the table translated into welcome to my table with Max Tucci. We are also working on other shows. So there are other concepts that we're doing. We wanted to kick this one off right away.
Yes. And ideally, look, I started my own travel business after leaving the talk show world. I started, you can find me on Instagram, Suzanne Bass Travels. And I've always loved traveling my whole life. I've planned numerous trips for my family, all my
and
friends.
Stupendous trips for your clients.
Yes. So I got certified. I started this little business. It's just a little
big business.
Big business.
Talk about
side
humble.
business. But ideally, we do something with food and travel, and that's what
You
we're
book
aiming
everything.
for.
But let me ask you this question. How was it to transition from 30 years of television into the travel space? Did you miss TV?
Yeah, I love TV. TV is my life. Like I love TV. And
The way that TV ended for you, right, was unconventional. I know the story. I'm not going to share it.
Yeah.
It was fucked up. And I can
Totally
say that.
fucked up. Mm-hmm.
And I don't like to say unfair, because unfair just seems, it's so minimizing to say unfair. It was dirty in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And but what I think for you, and correct me if I'm wrong, but rejection's protection. I say that all the time. You know that. And I think in that moment, when there was that transition for you to leave where you were, your passion of 30 years, working alongside with your husband, stability, knowing that your kids were going to be taken care of, and then to have that stripped away from you, and now you're in a new position where at a certain age in life, you have to fucking figure it all out again.
Mm-hmm.
How did that really affect you?
Well,
really affect you, not the Suzanne smiling affect you, like affect you.
Yeah, no, it's shitty, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not alone. It happens to a lot of people. I'm working in an industry that is constantly changing. There's a lot of stuff going on, and it's upsetting to not be able to do something that you love and you're great at.
But now you're doing it.
And so, now I'm doing it. And you want to know what? I'm ahead of the game,
Yeah.
because now I'm learning new things. I've started my own business. I'm going to have for the rest of my life.
Right.
I'm going in the direction of podcasts. I've got other stuff going on that I cannot mention, but stuff is happening, and
But TV,
I'm
let's talk about TV since you're a
yeah,
veteran. I mean, we just read an article that the Oscars are now going to be on YouTube,
yep,
right? So again, that moment of rejection's protection propelled you into this moment to see something new, to see something in me, to make me come out of the restaurant industry and hosting and being this restaurateur that I am, to focus on the next chapter for Max and Friends, Welcome to the Table, but also the next chapter of entertainment, because it's not going to be called television, right?
Nope.
So the next chapter of hosting, entertainment, shows. Yes, it's been happening, but now mainstream. When you say the Oscars are going over to YouTube, that's a huge thing. And so, you know, Ivana Trump used to say the best is yet to come. And the best is happening right now.
Yeah,
I
no
am so
change.
honored to have you, seriously.
Oh, thank you.
Convince me, Fran and you both, I mean, you both are veterans in this, to see something in me that I always thought I had it. But you know, the reality is, if you don't have people believing in what you're doing, look, and Sam at LA Talk Radio has been saying for for over 15 years, you've got to be on camera, you got to be on camera. But to have you and Fran come together, we made this happen. We're going to book amazing guests. We're going to continue to welcome all to the table. We're going to have the best time. We can continue this conversation forever. But I think the most important thing is, let's wrap up. Your life is fascinating. I don't want to give them too much. I think we gave them, like, you know, the appetizer of the life of Suzanne, and we've whet their palates to know more. And let me tell you, we have juicy steaks at Delmonico's, but Suzanne
Juicy.
got a juicy steak of a story to tell, and she's going to, because, you know, I'm all about storytelling. But I appreciate you and Fran so much for getting this together. I mean, for making all of this happen, and John and Brendan and your family, because we've taken up a lot of so many people, you know, of your time and my time, and, you know, the restaurant, and you've been away from them on the phone with me, and I've been away from my obligations of work, but it wasn't just to play. There was a meaning behind it. It's meaningful. It's powerful. It's not my first time behind the mic. It's not your first time producing. And so the best is happening now. And I thank you so much for being a part of this next chapter, for me, for you, for Fran. You know, Fran's another producer. I get to say my producers.
I've known Fran since Rosie. She was
Yeah.
my ride or die.
I mean, when
And
you literally ride or die, you rode up here to the farm today, and
she picked
Fran
me
rolls
up.
down the window and
My
she
life
goes,
is in her hands.
I never thought 30 years later we would be doing this again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so for me, there's a magic in that while you were doing your thing with Fran, you went all these shows, and I was doing my thing, the universe was conspiring to bring us together. And it has, and it's happening, and it's going to be amazing, because I know what's going to happen. Y'all don't know yet. That's why you got to stay tuned. But I know what's going to happen here. I like to say I don't know what I know, but I know the knower. I don't know all, but I know the knower. And I know that what's going to happen is going to be amazing. So stay tuned, because, I mean, you can say too, Suzanne, there's going to be there's a lot happening.
Oh, it's going to be fire.
Are you having fun?
Yeah, I'm having so much fun.
Okay. Really? like,
Yes.
This is going to be a lot of fun, this show.
Yes, I'm very.
But what
very
what makes this show different? Not from Max and Friends, because we already know Max and Friends, but what makes this show different from the millions of podcasts that you've seen? That's an insider's perspective. I mean, you're a veteran in television, you know talent. What's going to make this show different from other shows out there?
Well, I just think you're dynamic. You have a dynamic personality. You're like a Renaissance man. You're inspirational, yet outgoing. You can talk about a million different topics. You have really good insight on stuff that, like, I wouldn't even think you knew about, you know about. You know how to hold a great conversation.
I know about raising kids and I don't have any.
Yeah, I mean, you look great right now, but half the time you look like you're going to pick your kids off the soccer field
That's right.
with your hat on.
My imaginary kids, I'm going to go pick up from flag football.
Yeah, flag football. Exactly. It's flag football season. So I just think that it's you, and your perspective on things that's going to really make people want to come to you and watch you.
So the plan and the vision of the show is, yes, we're going to have guests like this where you're in your space now and I'm in my space, but eventually we're going to grow this, and I want my guests to physically come and sit at this table. That's my biggest dream. We're going to make that happen. There's a couple of things that we got to do right now because, I hear Fran in my ear telling me do this, do that. And so we're going to do it. And I didn't forget, but there's a game we're going to play. And I know you're going to roll your eyes and you're going to squint your face. You're like, I'm not playing this stupid game, but get over it because here we go. So we're going to have a little chat in this session now of the show, in this portion of the show of Welcome to My Table with Max Tucci. Here we are at my barn, Delmonico Farm Studios. And we're going to play the 3 Fs. Okay. And the 3 Fs are, this is like the inauguration of the 3 Fs. We're going to feed, frolic, and forgive. Okay? So who are you going to feed?
I'm not going to feed anyone. I don't cook. I told you this.
All right. So who are you going to dine with?
You know what? If I could have if I could have one last dinner with my father, I would.
Okay. Would it be at Delmonico's or Tucci?
Delmonico's.
The
older crowd goes there.
Oh, Tucci. Tucci
doesn't
have any stairs, though.
Tucci would have been too much for him. Tucci would have been too much.
There's no stairs to get into Tucci.
Right, exactly.
All right. Who are you going to frolic with?
That's so easy. Jeff Goldblum.
Oh,
Jeff
Goldblum. Can we please set up a reservation, Jeff Goldblum, with you and Suzanne for her birthday?
I've been in love with him since The Fly. Oh, I love him.
Since The Fly. All right, and who are you going to forgive?
Oh, you're going to have to tune in later for that.
No.
Episode down the road.
Oh, all right, we're going to, there's that many? Or no one?
Just one or two.
Just one or two. All right. All right. We need a little bell. Can we get, Fran and Suzanne, you're both here. Can we like figure out something where we can end this segment so we can go somewhere next? There you go. Hey, Fran, what's on your desk? Suzanne, what's on your desk that you want to share on your table?
Oh, my dinner bell.
All right. And I'm going to share this. We're both Lalique. This is my little angel. It's from... Really, this is a Lalique Angel limited edition from Elton John. And I'm always going to keep this here because I feel like really at this point in my life, my angels are looking over me. So that's my little angel.
Oh, that's really sweet.
That's sweet. I want to take a moment also to dedicate this show to Mrs. Higgins, to Brendan's mom.
Oh, thank you.
So Brendan, guys, I love your mother. Thank you so much for trusting me. I'm going to cry.
I know.
To bring her into my life, to my table. And so this show is for Mrs. Higgins because when we were producing the show and putting it all together, please note that we're going to need tissues on my table. Not right now, but
I'm looking for tissues
for the next episode. I love you guys. And thank you so much for trusting me to welcome your mother into my life and into now welcome to my table. And also, Fran, thank you both so much. I got to wrap this up because that's what we got to do. I love you all for tuning in. We're going to make this mark. I love you all for tuning in. Thank you, Suzanne, so much for not only being on the show, but for helping create the show.
Listen, when this is over, give me a call, okay?
I'll give you a call. Don't worry.
Okay.
I thank you both so much. And I look forward so much to seeing how Welcome to My Table is going to unfold. So until next time, I love you all for tuning in. And remember to welcome all to your table because you never know who's going to take a seat with you. Max Tucci saying goodnight.